Are you trying to figure out how to get things done? Are you trying to look for knowledge that can actually help you do something, be better at what you do? Hi, I'm Joyce Mbaya, founder of ZD, where we provide affordable online courses for Africa. This is the place for you, the ZD podcast, where we have inspiring conversations with amazing people. And the ultimate goal is to help you know more so you can do more.
Welcome everyone to the ZD podcast, the Know More, Do More podcast. I am Rhoda, co-founder of ZD, and we have a really interesting topic today that came up last week, but hey guys, last week was such a marathon, so we were not able to publish it last week, but here we are this week, final week of March 2022, and we're going to be talking about money. The word that gives you either shivers, fear, or excitement. It just always elicits a response. So we're going to start with just discussing if you ever stop to think about what perceptions you have about money and the roots of those perceptions. So I'm going to hand it over to the team so they can start off. Kevin and Boniface, take the floor.
Hi everyone,
Thank you,
welcome
Rhoda.
to the ZD podcast. Yeah. I'm Kevin, as I've been introduced. I'm happy to be here. I usually wear specs when I'm doing this episode so that I can feel smarter. So the whole idea, I don't know if I'll let Bonnie introduce himself first, then I'll say my point.
Thank you, Kevin. I usually love your specs, and I'm Boniface. I'm also very excited, of course, to connect with all of our audience. We enjoy when we hear that you listening to our crazy topics and ideas, and also we'll appreciate if you also give us feedback. Let us know what you want us to talk about next. We'd love to talk about such things. So I want to okay, Kevin, you can take it over. I love you edit that part.
Okay. Yeah. So the whole idea, perception about or perception of or about money, I think maybe personally for me, how I grew up, it wasn't really something that we talked about until I got to a point where I started making my own money. Is when I started, when you're a kid, it always feels like a bottomless pit. Nikitaka kitu, there's always money that will come from somewhere. But when you get older, it's when you, at least for me, when you start realizing, for me, in order to get something later, either I have to save or there's a certain relationship with money I have to help me facilitate my life. And especially if it's not a normal practice that you got used to, I feel like finances should be like how you usually take kids to Sunday school every Sunday. As a kid is growing up, it's something that we should always instill in them, so that the same way they have a fear of God when they're older, they should have the fear of money when they're also older. But maybe that's from my point of view. We never really had that relationship about this is how you save. These are ways people make money. I think the only conversation I ever had was shamba ilinunuliwa, shamba yuko na pesa. So even when I'm older, my mind usually goes shamba. I have to bring myself back to the other ways I can make money.
Wow. Oh, that's so interesting. And I can't even wait to hear Bonnie's perspective, but personally as well. Do you want to go first, Boniface? You can go first.
I wanted to quote what you told me in 2016. I don't think you'll ever remember this, but as Kevin has said, talked about that our parents, of course, and we are not blaming them because it's a generational thing. They were also not taught that. So I also never got those lessons. But then you spoke to me, you told me something about what your dad told you about money. He said, if you respect money, money will respect you. I don't know if you ever.
I told you that. Oh, and it's something I tell people.
You see. So, and you see, now your dad instilled that in you. You're telling people. And it's a very important perception and belief about money, that if you respect money, even the way, I remember you looking at the money I had and I had folded it in a funny way. You were like, Bonnie, you need to respect money. You have to take care of it so that it can take care of you. You see, that is a powerful belief.
Wow.
So when we have those opportunities and chances to get trained about money as early as we maybe 5 years old, it helps with our, of course, future handling of money, right? And then the beliefs also, we kids, I know all of you know that kids also pick up energy from us, the beliefs that we have about money, without us even teaching them. So if we have those inadequate beliefs, lack beliefs, then kids pick up that money is never enough. You don't get money from, man doesn't grow on trees, such things. I can't afford such and such. So if I grow up believing that, can you imagine the battle I'm going to have when I start making my own money? I'm going to carry that over also to my kids. But I believe once you realize, the first step to changing any belief is to become aware. So we begin to become aware of, I have this perception about money. For example, when you spoke to me that day, since then, I usually take good care of my money. And you see, I remember it. I put it nicely in my wallet, and then I walk with it. So you changed a perception of me about money. Like, I need to take good care of money. It's the same thing now also. Man doesn't grow on trees. I can't afford such and such. So if I begin to change those beliefs and believe, you know what, I can afford such and such, if those perceptions become that way now for me, then my kids are going to inherit that healed mentality. And of course, that then is going to ensure that there's a prosperous life. Yeah.
Great, Bonnie. So for you personally, and I'm like, hey, you've gone so deep. I'm like, wait, Ebu, tuanze tena. So for you personally, what was a perception that you had about money that you learned, or like you grew up knowing?
Money is never enough. You see, because we're always having those lists. So, and then I'm hearing my dad and my mom discussing there are things they need to buy, and then they're like, the money is not enough, so we need. And you see, they never told me, but I can remember every conversation they had. I picked it up from what they discussed. So when I've grown up now, I want to buy things. I'm looking. I need to. Money is not enough to purchase all these things. And that is not true, because, the book we're reading is you need to allow money. It's not that you need to go fight for money. If I can allow money, I can have enough money for everything that I need. It's energy, right?
Yes.
So I picked the wrong energy of saying that I don't want enough money without me saying I don't want enough money.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, so for me, money is never enough energy. So and another thing just I want to add there, even in reference to the clients, as I remember Joyce was sharing with us, she said, you may not tell your client that you don't want their business, but as you are using your words, you're telling them, I want your business, but your energy is saying, I don't want your business. And they are going to respond to that energy. Same thing with money. I'm thinking and I'm looking for ways to get enough money, but my energy is saying there is never enough money. So you see, I'm just wasting my life going round and round those circles. Yeah, it's futile, exactly.
Yeah, I really love what you said, by the way, that thing for energy. And ever since, I think this year has been my year of basically fixing my energy. And fixing my mindset. So for me personally, and you've just said that, and I was like, wow. So for my dad, and generally there's two different things I got, and one was, culturally, we don't talk about money because nobody ever talked about money outrightly. It was never a one-on-one conversation. Like the way for girls especially, the conversation was like, you should not date people, this boyfriend thing, don't let them spoil your future, go to school first, do this. You had conversations about so many different areas of your life, like faith and God, but money was never outrightly spoken about. So even when you said that instance, and for me, it's because how powerful it was, is because like money was never talked about, but I picked that from my dad, because that was One of the key phrases she told me, and it stuck because there were not many instances where we ever talked about money.
Wow.
You know? Wow. So the one was just people don't talk about money, like don't talk about it. Another perception I got was because there was a time when we went through like intense money struggles. You guys, I have known plenty and I have known lack. Let me tell you, lack. Like lack to the shilling. Like people don't even understand how deep it goes. So another perception I had about money was how to make how to do a lot with a little. But even when you're doing the a lot, money is meant for function. Money is not for enjoyment. Money is for you to get things. You're alive, you're eating, you're healthy. And then maybe enjoyment can come in as an afterthought. So money was more in terms of function more than luxury or enjoyment. And that was like a big part of especially that critical time of growth when I could see that. I could hear the conversations. So those are the perceptions I had about money. Of even me, Bonnie, it's that thing of there's not enough money, but also not my thought process never stopped there. It was there's not enough money, but what you do have, you can do something with that. That was the perception I had. Okay. And it's so funny because even with that, now I look back and because I've really been digging about like going through what is my personality, like my money personality. How do I engage with money? And where does it come from? And yeah, childhood really does mold a big part of that. And the fact that it was never spoken about. Can you imagine, guys, you're coming to, and the only thing that's talked about in Christian houses about money is tithing. You are never but I see churches nowadays, but those days they didn't have those investment classes. They were all secular. They were they were exactly. And the only thing that the church would talk about is tithing. Like just that's all in terms of money, was tithing. So that's all the main money practice that I've always had, and it's tithing. And even at that,
tithing and work.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're tithing and work. So it was only on tithing. And even at that, because I'm doing a lot of learning now, and I'm rediscovering what is the root of tithing, and not just what we were told because you're told this is what you need to do. But why are you doing it? What is the why? Exactly. So I think those are definitely.
And also, there also is a thought that has come to me, and I would like for us to even explore it. What are our money blocks? Okay, even I'll start with Kevin. Like, what are your money blocks? For example, money is not enough. Maybe we can share maybe 5. We see if we share some of the common money blocks. Like, what is it? Yeah. Okay, so, Kevin, maybe.
I think, pardon that last part. What's a money block?
Okay, let me go first. These are those limiting beliefs that, because no matter how much what I've come to discover is no matter how much I work, if I have a wrong belief about something, I will never get it. So, for example, one for me was money is never enough. You see, that is a limiting belief. Because I believe that money is not enough, then I'm not going to make enough money. 2, I had another money block for me was identity, my worthiness. Like, do I deserve to be prosperous? Because if I don't believe that I deserve to be successful, no matter how much I work, it will never be produced. And then another money block was for me that there are things that are beyond my purchasing power, that they are too good for me. You see, I don't deserve such and such things, that they are too good for me. I can never afford such and that is a money block for me. It's a limiting block. And as long as I believe that, there are things I would never have in this world, right? And then another block was for me that money does not come easy, because we have been told severally that you have to struggle to make money. Imagine if I believe that, The only way I'm going to,
Yeah.
and the worst thing about life is you get to find out that there is a quote I usually love. People say you walk like an elephant, but you eat like an ant. You can work too much, but then you eat so little, and then someone else is just seated there, and then they're making so much money. You see, you can't compare the two. Yeah. So I would love to also hear from you guys. What are some of your money blocks? What are those limiting money blocks that you have?
I think from a lot of what you said, I think I do have bits and pieces of those. And for me, mostly it's how to value my time in terms of money. So the same thing you're saying, the reason why you have to work harder than someone else, I feel it's because there are so many, just for instance, for me, sometimes I find myself, I feel like I need to help someone more to create a relationship with them. But if I was a smarter person, I would have like done it more like a business interaction.
Charged it.
Like,
wow.
Yeah. So it feels more of my time is never usually equated to money. I never have that mindset.
You're not valuing your time, and also that it rolls down to, because you love what you do, you don't really see it as expertise.
Monetizing it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
And it's in everything. It might not even just be because of something you're doing. You know, even mtu akikuuliza, kesho uko free, unaweza come through, maybe you can evaluate, can I be doing something productive that day? Because this is, I spend time like money. If time ningekuwa nafanya kitu where it would have,
you can give me some return.
Yeah. So
that's powerful.
Yeah, I think that's one thing. And mostly I think most of what you said, and also this is something I noticed I never do a lot of. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Aki Boniface, you're really challenging me. I really love it. This is very enriching. So for me, in fact, when you said it, I was like, why? That's a big one. Of money does not come to you easily. That thing of you have to work, you have to labor. And for me, it was not even, mine was you have to work hard. You know? You have to work hard. You have jasho lazima itoke ndio upate pesa. And the thing is, I mean, hard work is not a bad thing, but the problem is that's not necessarily a universal truth, because you have some of the hardest workers, the laborers, and yet they do not make as much money. So that's also a truth that I am starting to something that was holding me back that I'm unraveling now. Another was the functionality of money and how money is for functional things only. Like,
that is a big one.
It is where I'm pretty, in fact, like, I'm so low maintenance, let me tell you, like, I'm working on increasing my maintenance levels. Because for me, money was more, you pay your bills, you know, you build your house, it's more functional of, you know, like, you have a vehicle, but that vehicle is not so that you can travel. That vehicle is so that it's easier for you to get around. Or, you know, like, just those things. In fact, the main luxury I can say, and that's because I have an in-depth love, is my main luxury is food. And that's because I'm such a foodie. Like, that one cannot be untaught or anything. Like, and that's where I feel, but you see, that's connected to survival as well. So if you're going to survive, you might as well enjoy the food process. So, like, doing things where I in fact, I'm starting to learn where maybe getting something just because it's nice and not because it's necessarily functional. Or doing something just because I feel like it would be nice to do it, and there's no strings attached to function.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because it's usually for me when I want to buy something that I feel it's a kind of an expense. You know, your spirits, the ancestors in your bones. Unaonanga nika those memes for mwanaume afai kwa akioga na sijui freestyle nafaa kuoga na mawe, kitu kama hiyo. So there's those memes that go around, it's mwanaume afai kwa akifanya hivi.
So, yeah.
So it's the same way with money, you feel. Yani unanunua ice cream.
It's like, why are you buying ice cream? Do you need that ice cream?
Yeah. Why? What's the point?
It's really interesting because even in terms of, and it's the smallest things all the way to buying small like knickknacks for your house to make your house beautiful, so that yes, you're living in your house, but is your space beautiful? Is it like it needs to move beyond function, because quality of life is also about beauty and those little things, that in fact because of how you grew up, you're taught that this is a luxury. And for me, it was not that it was taught, it was more of observance, of like for now, my dad was the exact opposite. My dad was extravagant, and he was outgoing, he was incredibly successful and whatnot. But now when things went wrong, and like he went abroad to work and whatnot, the family, nini. So now you're surrounded by all these beautiful things, but you've come in a time where you are not there when they were being purchased or created. So you found them, but you've not experienced the process of acquiring those things. So there's a dissociation where yes, you love beautiful things, but you're okay even just with the basic, because you don't connect the two. And I was like, wow. And this was something I had not realized was such a thing. Like me, you guys make it live like a bachelor. Let me tell you.
I know. You remember we had a conversation with you, Rod, about how your mom does not purchase dresses below 10K. But to you, it bothers you. It bothers the hell out of you. Like, you be like, why will you buy a dress?
In fact, I understand. In fact, I've never questioned it. It's been such an ordinary part of my life, but not for me. And for my mom, my mom never compromised on and she would save. My mom can even go for a whole year saving, and then she buys that one outfit because she's not going to compromise on the quality, and it makes her feel amazing. But for me, I'm like, even if I save all that, I will try and use it on something functional or food, and I think it was
okay.
Yeah. So one of the wonderful
this is
even now at learning, relearning, and looking at things from a different perspective and appreciating how I'm like, even with the deepest of troubles, she still took time to like spend on something beautiful, something luxurious for herself, that was not functional. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, maze, that was just so it's something I'm also learning, and it's
learning
just
now, picking up.
Yeah, it is.
And I
think that would be like my biggest
it's something I've also noticed with my mom. The older akaka age after retire, it's usually if she does something, makes money, she usually says, if this project gave me this amount, I'll buy something to remember that work I did during that time.
Yes.
So it's every amount you make, the same way vile unajuanga 10% ni ya tithing, kuwa na a reminder, like to tell you, okay, I did this once and hii kitu came out of it. Even if I did other normal kawaida things, it helps, especially I think maybe for us, because most of our lives we've spent mostly in school, and we've always had progression, and we saw the next step pali inaenda. But after that, when you come out of school, it's life becomes one mundane kawaida every day. It's you pick your own adventure story.
Wow.
So when you're having those moments where you like have milestones, either if it's like Rhoda's mom, what she does, she saves for a long time, and then from that savings she gets something.
She remembers.
I think
and something marvelous, like not kawa things,
Quality over quantity.
Exactly. That's her mantra.
hizo ndo zitakuwa hizo moments zile they'll start building story ya life journey yako as you go on. You'll always have something to remind you of, I did this. Remember the same way we say, remember when you went to Mombasa, remember when you did this here. So it's so have those moments with your money as well.
Okay, so to our viewers, a wonderful audience, I hope you're enjoying listeners, in fact, not you will add that. So to our wonderful listeners, I hope you're enjoying the topics we're talking about, the ideas we're sharing. So if you also have a money block, we would love to hear from you. You can share below, leave a comment, and I will of course be excited and glad to respond. So as even we near to the end of the podcast, I want us to discuss, now that we have brought up around 5-6 blocks, brainstorming and think about how do we then now move from here, because this is a thing we have, it's real, and it's blocking us from getting the money we need. How do we then move?
Starting the unblocking has been done.
Exactly.
But I get what you're saying, Boniface. So what are you doing to unravel,
unblock, and then and one of the things I picked even from Rhoda, when you talked about money is more of a function and not even for leisure, and to me there's a thought that jumped in my head. I was like, what if Rhoda thought that money is everywhere, money is abundant, so I will have more than enough for function and more than enough for leisure? I was like, so maybe to heal even that block is now to begin thinking that money is everywhere. Money is always around me. So that now I can use, exactly, so I can use it for anything I want to. Because if you have money for everything, then you don't need to choose it for A, B, C, D or D, E, F, G. You see? I don't know, Kevin, what are you doing to, because as long as we have these limiting beliefs, they are going to stop us from getting the money we need. Or I can start to also give you time to think. For me, what I've done is one of the things that helped me this month, there's a book that Joyce shared with us. That book is powerful. There are some exercises you do there. So I've begun doing some mantras. You write down, for example, why you deserve such and such. So let's say, for example, why do I deserve $1 million? So then I can write 20 reasons. You see, the more I write, because the mind, most of the subconscious mind, it works with repetition. The more you repeat, then the more you get to believe it, right? It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It just believes whatever you put in there. And once you believe that, then it begins to allow that thing to come to you. So doing mantras, writing 20 reasons why I deserve such and such. And also, because to get to those belief levels, sometimes I do meditations. This might be spooky for some people, but I do love listening to someone reading out, those affirmations, to just let them get into my mind, so that
Kevin, open mind, open mind, open mind,
so that I can be able to get my mind, because all I need to do is to let go of this limiting belief, acquire a new belief, and within a short time I will get whatever I want. So I'm gonna use a verse here. You see, the Bible says, and also there's a book by Allen. Is it John Allen or someone? Says that as a man thinketh, so is he. So so as long as I'm thinking this
Nietzsche
way,
I think that's Nietzsche.
No, it's John Allen, but it's also from the book of Proverbs 4:23. It says that as a man thinketh, so is he. But now that thing there, thinketh, is not the normal thoughts on your conscious mind, because we usually think a lot of thoughts. Maybe per day I heard is we only use our conscious mind maybe 5%. 95% is 95% is
Bonnie. Don't tell us.
It's a myth.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it has been debunked. Okay.
Yes.
But because the reason why I thought I'm using that is because usually every day you wake up at this time, and then the whole day you follow that pattern that you have. And wherever that pattern comes from, It comes from where you have instilled your beliefs, like I do this at this time, I do this at this is even when you drive. After you've driven for a long time, you don't even have to check the road where you headed to. You see, sometimes you don't even remember you're driving. So it has been so instilled in your mind that you now follow that pattern. And a man thinks, is it about 60,000 thoughts per day? And if 55,000 of those is the normal daily thoughts that you think. So you won't think new ones around 5,000 new ones. So we need now to begin to think new thoughts concerning money. Like, how do I see money? Every day, every morning, we reevaluate how we feel about money. Okay, I don't feel right about this area. And I did, for example, I told you I traveled with my family, and I bought them snacks and things have gone high. So I spent around 1,000 bob. I was like, hey, snacks, and the way I am, so it bothered me so much. And you see, I'm doing it for my family and my kid. Because we try, but I was like, okay, I should have not bought this and this. And when we got here where we were headed to, we had used all those snacks, and I was like, I'm glad I bought that. It helped. But at that moment, you see, my energy was like, I should have not bought this. Why?
Your energy was on the scarcity of, okay, so now it's gone. I've wasted my money rather than I've invested in my family, enjoying the trees.
You see, perception.
Yeah.
Perception. So that limiting belief of no enough money began now eating me up. It's like there's no enough money. But if, as you have said, if I had thought about this is valuing my family, I've invested, I should feel good about it, I know for sure more money will have come.
Yes.
So from my side, those are some of the things I'm trying to do to heal, like change what I believe about it.
Yeah. Thanks, Boniface. That's really interesting. Kevin, can pick up from there.
Oh yeah, I'm saying it's an interesting point of view, because I don't think I ever, because I also like the meditation stuff, but I don't think I ever think about it in terms of money. Yes, and I understand that whole thing of perception and how it can, the way you perceive your world is how the world will be. If you think you're the victim every day, every interaction, mtu akikubump kwa barabara utakuwa kusema watu wananionea, like that's how your life will be.
Wow.
So
that is crazy.
What, Bonnie?
I was saying what you've said is very true, and maybe to add there as you continue is, we never see our world with our eyes, but through our eyes, and that is how it shapes us. Yeah, wow, it's crazy what you're saying. Yeah, okay, you can continue.
So I think
the guy's Boniface is fired up, like he's lit. See him, he's glowing from the inside out.
Me, Mercedes in my car, and
yeah, man. So imekufanya perception yako ya money pande.
It has to change.
So you're thinking akina Kevin are in their two bed sitters and me niko ndani ya Mercedes.
You can imagine crying. The thinking has to be different.
Yeah. No, but I think for me mostly because I have a very bad relationship with money in that I don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah. But
that
is serious. That is serious.
But
continue.
It's for me. It's I never think about it because other things are more important in my life than it. When I think about it, okay, let me put it in this way. I started using things I want to do with people to inform me wanting to get money. So it's like what Joyce told us a while back. I think last year, the time we were doing the calendar thing, is I usually set targets on, for instance, I want to go home and maybe buy my mom a good thing. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Like, so when I'm thinking about the money, I'm not thinking it from the point of view of I want to get the money. It's I want my mom
What
to
is
be happy
it's
with a gift.
it's the means
So
that
when I
thing
have
for means
money,
goals versus
the
end
first
goals.
thing that will come to my head is, I need to set aside.
And I picked from what he's saying, he's talking about, I think it's that purpose, of course, purpose-driven life, which is important. But rather for me, I would try to add, even if you have a good purpose, if your belief about money is not good, it won't come.
It is,
It
and you
won't come.
and I'm so glad Kevin is back. Let him come, like,
Okay.
so that he
I
can.
don't
Kevin,
know
can you
where it
hear?
dropped off. Yeah, I don't know where it dropped off.
Yeah. The purpose, like your mom, you want to buy a dress.
Yeah. So for me, it's the purpose. So it's I think it's just a personality thing where, for me, the people in my life are the most important to me. So whatever I have money for, it's usually to facilitate, like spending time and making them happy. So
Yeah, and just to point that out, it's really interesting because it's that thing you were saying for it's means goals versus end goals, right? So for you, money is not just attaining money for the sake of money. It's the people who you want to do things for, and that's basically the root of money, of why you would want to get some monetary means, right? And what Boniface was saying was when he had dropped off, is it's really interesting because the end goal is always the most important thing in terms of helping drive, and you not just focusing on having money itself, but what is that money supposed to do? But also, if you do not like money and you have this perception towards money, it defeats the purpose. Like,
exactly.
You're trying to achieve one thing with something that you dislike, and when you dislike something, you don't want to think about it, you don't want to engage with it. So that creates a disconnect to what you want to achieve, because we do live in a world where value, especially money, is the monetary value that you're able to exchange to get value with something else. So it's, I think, also just finding a way to appreciate money. It's like not making money the root of your life, but appreciate what it can do and what it cannot do more than dislike, and it's just changing the mindset for that, because that would help, I think.
That is powerful.
Mostly it's maybe it's because of the narrative we usually have of everyone is just go after money.
Obsessed.
You need to be grinding, go after money. It's like something like how Bonnie was saying, him spending money on his kid
family.
There's like a feeling, because you'll feel like that money is the important thing. If I had 1,000 and I'm spending on my kid, if the kid was the important thing, I won't feel anything. So it's like to disconnect those, because I don't necessarily, I see it facilitates things. I understand that part. It's just that feeling of always, it's about the money, it's about the grind.
The narrative around money, that's the ugly narrative, the one that makes it poisonous, because money can become a god in your life, where it becomes the most important thing, which is incredibly dangerous.
It's an amplifier. It can either make you good or bad. And what I want also to just go into details with what Kevin said, it's not even about most people, if you hear them, even the billionaires, they don't want money for the sake of money, but what it brings, the freedom, so that you have enough time to spend with your family, to do things with your kids. For example, for me, even the reason why I thought about that, because I also needed to buy milk, you see. So I was like, I also, you get now my point. So because I have that mentality of there is no enough money, so I'm like, I should have not bought snacks for this. But to be honest, they needed those snacks so that they could travel comfortably. You see, so not needing more money just for sake of more money, but because of what it brings, the freedom, the enjoyment. So rather you have not shared yours so that we can bring it to
we need to wrap up, or we'll just be here talking for another hour. This has already gone long. So I would say, so for me, this whole basically understanding the root of my perceptions and how that has impacted my life started last year. Was it last year? Or the COVID times? That's what I remember. COVID, when you have a lot of time to just have introspection.
Yeah.
2 years ago. My goodness. So for me, one of the great things is, first of all, unearthing what you believe about money. So that was one. And I think because I've become very, very aware of that, and I keep discovering things every day. That was the first thing. The second is changing my thoughts and my practices. So like when I moved to my house, because I've been in this house for about 2.5 years or so. Oh, 3 years. 3 years, actually. 3 years. 3 years, 3 and a few months. I moved in, and for me, it was, okay, get the essentials. Like I get my sofa, I get my fridge, my micro. It was very, very functional. And it stayed with just the functional pieces for about 1.5 years.
Wow.
Where, like for me, it was not about making things pretty. It was, I have my sofa. Like my furniture is cute and everything, but there's no...
You have a place to sit, a place to...
and it's pretty functional. And when I started working on these perceptions, it started changing, because I would go out and see something and be like, oh, that would look good in my house. Buy one small thing and put it up. And it might, it's functional and pretty, but I would not have done that previously. So now my house has like unique pieces, and I've started getting plants, and not just functional, but they have like a woven basket and vases and like potpourri and those little things, and like a claw and clocks and like little figurines and paintings.
So many cool.
And this is not something I would have done because I didn't feel the need. To me, I'm okay, So it's now change of mindset needs to be followed with practice, and also just doing random things like going to do my nails. I always used to say I don't find the need. Like, why are you doing your nails? Until I did my nails, and I was like, huh. It's like you're wearing the best outfit in the world with lingerie and everything.
Wow.
Only your nails are done. So, and I was like, this is what this is about. Like, it's just the feeling and the empowerment it gives you, and it's not something I ever really thought about. It was not needed, So it's those small things, and also, honestly, it's unearthing the mindsets, and then now starting to practice, because sometimes you can have the best thoughts in the world, but if you don't put it to practice, you'll never actually start changing things. So for me, it's practice. If there's something that makes you very uncomfortable about money, start small, even if it's one small thing, and practice it. Do something for yourself. Or if you're always those people who are you're my exact opposite, where for you money is just for luxury, and you'll get a Louis Vuitton shoe and you won't have food the next day, maybe try fighting that and trying the functional for some time and see what difference that makes in your life. So I think that's been the great thing for me. And also understanding that money is not necessarily tangible. Money can come in the form of, you're just sitting there and you're invited for a meal. You've not paid for that meal, but you've had the value from it, or you've been invited somewhere for a concert, or just, sometimes random opportunities the universe gives you that you didn't have to cough up money for it, but it does have monetary value, which means also changing my idea that I have to have tangible money held in my hand for me to experience specific things. So just changing my mindset. And also for me is looking at, what does God's word say about money? Because all these things that I'm beginning to engage and understand, imagine all of it you find in the Bible. Like diversifying your investments, that's in the Bible, of course, giving and tithing, and also just being able to do things for yourself and for your family, and not forgetting yourself, and at the same time not becoming obsessed with it to the point where it's all you think about. So it's also going to the root of my spirituality and finding what are the spiritual rules around money. and now figuring out how to apply specific rules to my life. And yeah, I think that's definitely been improving how I've been engaging with money and value and life and generally everything. So that would be it for me.
Wow, thank you, Rhoda. And I think one of the powerful things I picked from you is take something small, small step, and then practice it.
Exactly.
Small step, practice. Yeah, I think that is the key for. If you have, and also what you mentioned is, you can also have this luxury, just using money for luxury. That is also a block.
It is. Because you were taught money will come and go so quickly, so you better do something.
Wow, that is a block.
You better buy what you like, enjoy right now, because you never know what tomorrow will hold. So you're like, even if I sleep hungry, I'm okay. Like, I have something I love. Hey,
that's a bad one, and it's
one
hidden.
Indication.
Yeah, well, okay. I think now we can wrap it up. So, Rhoda, maybe you wrap it up for us. Finish this. Yeah.
Kevin, any last words before we end this podcast?
No, I think I've learned a lot from you guys. I'll definitely be trying out everything you guys have suggested. Yeah, that's it.
Great. So that's it for our podcast today. We had a whole list of things, but honestly, it's too much to unpack in one particular sitting. So today we just talked about the perceptions of money and how that has impacted our lives. And I think it would challenge you to think about what are the perceptions you have about money and how has it impacted your life. And one thing I always say is...
Before you finish, I don't know if I'm intruding, but I think the final thing, maybe the overall thing I learned was it's the same thing we've been saying all through, even the other. I think there's a theme all through our podcasts. It's that idea of us as Africans removing those, I like how Bonnie calls them, blocks that we've gotten accustomed to over the years, because maybe we were raised by parents coming out of a period when there's not enough money. They're still trying to understand this whole capitalism thing, and maybe learning that hoarding is the best way to keep your money. Like is where food comes from the shamba we store. You can't invest mahindi. But now money works differently. So it's like so opening our minds more and more.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks, Kevin. And I would say, so what can you do to start opening your mind? If nothing else, what ZD stands for is no more, do more. So we are all about learning and empowering yourself and opening up your mind. So I would say, if you don't know where to start, find a money course somewhere online, find it, or engage in different conversations, or listen to podcasts or watch videos that can help you begin to just get perspective on where your thoughts are in terms of money. There's lots of money courses out there. So don't feel like you're stuck and there's no resources. We live in the age of technology, in the age of access and knowledge. So just open your mind, engage wisely, do your research, but learn something new from someone somewhere. And that's always step one. Just try learning something new and begin exploring. And that helps you in terms of just beginning to change your mindset and your perceptions. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. We have come to the end of the podcast. Bye-bye. Let's just end this there before we have more stories.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like and share, comment, get involved. Let us know what you think, what you want to learn next, and join us next time.